All right, this is a quick video right here today. I want to just talk about how it's very important to have more than one trading account. If you're going to day trade and if you're going to buy shares long term, that needs to be in two different accounts. Those two performances, those two activities needs to be in two different accounts. Here's the reason why. So, I'm trying to make a day trade, right? And I place a trade that, of course I don't know the outcome of it, but I placed the trade knowing that the odds are in my favor. Now, this isn't particularly the trade. This was just some, just some charting I was just doing earlier. But to continue with the story, I placed the trade, and so I had to exit the trade because that's how I day trade. You put on the trade, you exit quickly. So I did this in the same exact account that I keep my long-term shares in. And I was trying, it was time to get out of the trade. But I was in the car, so I was able to pull out my phone, open up TD Ameritrade, or I'm sorry, Charles Schwab Thinkorswim account, and then click to close the contracts. Now, the mistake that I made was I ended up closing a Meta contract, but it necessarily wasn't the contract, it was the long-term position that I was in. So I closed the long-term position that I was in from me buying the dip that was down here. So yes, I was up on that position for Meta, but I closed the trade up here. Now I'm fully out of the long-term position. So that's a huge mistake because now when Meta continues to pull back, go up, pull back, go up, pull back, go up, and goes and breaks all, set new all-time highs, instead of me being in the position back down here, which I originally was in, right? Now I'm in the position up here from where I gotta get in at. Let me remove all of this stuff real quick. Let me remove all this stuff. So I want y'all to really get this because this is important. This is the real reason why you gotta have more than one trading account. You gotta keep your long-term shares for, you wanna keep, the long-term is for years and years and years, right? You wanna pass down shares to your kids, your grandkids, blah, blah, blah. The day trading is for quick cash flow. It's for cash that you want to, withdraw or maybe add to the long-term positions. But this has to be in two accounts. When Meta breaks its all-time high, which it will, right? Instead of me being in that position here from buying the dip, now my percentage is different. My entry is different because I ended up selling or closing the contracts, the positions that I had, thinking that I was closing the contracts from a day trade that I took on S&P 500. So because it was in the same account, that mistake was a possibility in the first place. Now, had it been in two different accounts, right, meaning my day trading was separated from my long-term account, then that mistake would have not even been a possibility. There would have been no way for me to end up to go to my Meta long-term position and close out a contract. I'm sorry, I keep saying contract. Close out, sell shares. I literally sold shares thinking that I was selling an option contract. If you're gonna day trade options, day trade stocks, whatever, that needs to be in a separate account. If you're gonna buy shares long-term, that needs to be in a whole different account because I just messed up my whole entire, I just destroyed the purpose of me buying the dip. Now, granted, yes, Meta is going to give me opportunities to buy at a low price again, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add more shares at each dip on the way back up to all-time highs because it's not going to just shoot all the way up in one day, 1 month. It's not going to do that, right? It's going to take maybe 12 months, maybe the next year, 2 years. But every time it dip in these yellow circles you see, I'm going to add more shares. But I originally bought the original dip because I trade using supply and demand. And we knew that, well, me and everybody else who trade with supply and demand knew that there was this weekly demand zone here. So that was just a great buying point. But because I made the mistake of trying to close out an options trade, being that it was in the same account as my long-term portfolio, I closed out a long-term trade or a long-term investment, which was selling Meta shares. Don't make that mistake. Have two different accounts. You're going to really regret making this mistake, being that I'm telling you to avoid it. So that's what this video is about. I wanted to keep it short, simple. It seemed like how could you make that mistake? But trust me, the more you indulge in financial markets using technology and everything, it's going to just be some mistakes that you make. Even the best traders right now still make mistakes, little small technical mistakes as far as like closing out the wrong contracts, buying the wrong contracts. Cause I could make a whole separate video about, instead of buying calls, you buy puts, or instead of buying puts, you buy calls because you're so call biased. And let's say it's a bull market, right? And then all of a sudden, let's just say it's a bull market. You've been buying calls for weeks and weeks at a time. Then all of a sudden, the market structure change. It's like a short-term bear market. You want to take advantage of it. Now it's time to buy puts. But instead of you buying puts, you buy calls because you're so in the habit of just buying calls. And then so you seeing your trade idea work out, but the whole time, you looking at your P&L, it's like, whoa, then you realize, oh, snap, I bought puts. I bought calls, I didn't buy puts. So those are little small mistakes that you can make. This video is about the mistake of having your day trading account meshed with the account that you have long-term ideas and strategies for. Don't mix the two, because you're going to make a huge mistake. At some point, you're going to make the mistake. Trust me. Like, you're not perfect, you're not a robot. At some point, you're going to make the mistake, and you're going to regret it. So, hope you learn from my mistake. And, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Comment if you made this mistake at some point, you know what I'm saying? And then we can talk about it. Like, if it's a good idea to actually separate the day trading account from the long-term account. Or if you feel like, you could pay attention to detail enough to just completely avoid the mistake.